They were once the pride of the oceans, floating palaces that carried thousands of passengers across the seas. Built with billions of dollars, dressed in marble and glass, powered by roaring engines, and advertised as dreams made real. For years, they sailed as symbols of luxury, adventure, and escape. But nothing lasts forever, and for some of these giants of the sea, their destiny is not glory, but silence. Empty corridors, rusting hulls, broken glass, and waves echoing through halls. Where music once played, these are the abandoned cruise ships. What happens when a floating city is no longer wanted? Where do these giants go to die? It is one of the eeriest and least spoken about secrets of the cruise industry. While passengers remember the laughter, the shows, the endless buffets, the truth is that when the lights fade and the money dries up, even the greatest cruise ships face an uncertain fate. Some are left drifting, forgotten. Others rot in harbors as ghosts of their former selves. And some are run aground on faraway beaches, stripped apart piece by piece, their steel sold as scrap, their grandeur reduced to piles of rust. The story of abandoned cruise ships is a story of human ambition and human neglect, of billion-dollar dreams turned into rusting nightmares. And once you step into this world, you will never look at the shining cruise industry the same way again. Take the SS United States. Launched in 1952, she was once the fastest ocean liner ever built, slicing across the Atlantic in record-breaking time. Presidents, movie stars, and royalty walked her decks. She was America's flagship, a floating symbol of pride. Yet today, she sits in Philadelphia, silent and stripped, her once glorious interiors gutted, her paint peeling, her fate undecided. Decades of neglect have turned her from queen of the seas into a rusting ghost ship. And still she waits, too expensive to restore, too iconic to scrap. Or consider the haunting sight of the World Discoverer. A cruise ship designed for adventure. She struck an uncharted reef in the Solomon Islands in 2000. The passengers were evacuated safely, but the ship was left behind. To this day, her broken body leans on her side in a shallow bay, her hull cracked open, jungle growing around her. Locals pass by in small boats pointing to the wreck like a monument. What was once an explorer's dream now lies as a permanent reminder of the ocean's unforgiving power. And then, there is the Costa Concordia. In 2012, this Italian cruise ship capsized after striking rocks off the island of Giglio. The disaster claimed 32 lives and shocked the world. The wreck of the Concordia lay on its side for over 2 years, half submerged, a chilling symbol of hubris and tragedy. Images of her giant body lying helplessly against the rocks spread across the globe, haunting proof that even the biggest ships can fall. Eventually, after one of the most expensive salvage operations in maritime history, she was towed away and dismantled in Genoa. But for years, the Concordia was an abandoned colossus, a floating graveyard watched by the world. These are not isolated stories. The truth is that every year cruise ships are abandoned. Ships take the spotlight, the old ones are quietly pushed aside. And where do they go? Many end up in places like Alang, India, the largest ship-breaking yard in the world. Here, on miles of beach, giants of steel are run aground at high tide, then torn apart by armies of workers with blowtorches. Thousands of tons of steel, furniture, and wiring are salvaged and sold. To the workers, it is survival. To the world, it is recycling. But to those who once walked the decks as passengers, it is heartbreaking. The chandeliers, the lounges, the cabins where memories were made, reduced to scrap, sold to the highest bidder. Yet some ships never even make it to the scrapyards. They are left floating, sold to smaller companies that never find the money to restore them. They drift from Port to port, sometimes seized by banks, sometimes abandoned by owners who simply vanish. Their lights go out, their engines fail, and they become floating ghosts. Mariners who pass them at sea describe an unsettling silence. A city with no people, a giant with no life. Walking through an abandoned cruise ship is like stepping into a time capsule of luxury gone wrong. Dust-covered pianos sit in empty lounges. Plates and glasses lie scattered in dark dining rooms. Pools are filled with rainwater, not swimmers. Cabins remain frozen with beds made and suitcases left behind. Yet everything is decayed, corroded, swallowed by mold and rust. The laughter of thousands has been replaced by the groan of metal and the crash of waves. The reasons behind abandonment vary. Some ships are victims of disaster. Some fall to economic collapse. Others are simply too old, too costly to maintain, or too outdated to compete with the floating megacities of today. A cruise ship is built to last perhaps 30 years. After that, it is often cheaper to replace than to repair. The glossy brochures never mention this, but behind the luxury lies an industry that constantly consumes and discards its own creations. The 2020 global pandemic revealed this darker truth in shocking clarity. With cruises halted worldwide, dozens of ships were stranded, companies collapsed, and fleets were downsized. Once busy harbors became parking lots for idle cruise ships, and many of those ships never returned to service. Instead, they were sold for scrap, sent to Alang, Turkey, or Bangladesh, their final voyage not one of celebration, but of dismantling. Images of beloved ships being torn apart by fire and steel spread online, breaking the hearts of those who once sailed on them. But perhaps the eeriest of all are the ghost ships, those left drifting at sea with no one aboard. Stories emerge of vessels found wandering the oceans, abandoned after accidents, storms, or piracy. They are rare, but they exist. In these hollow shells, furniture floats in flooded rooms, doors slam with the roll of the waves, and the ship itself seems alive with echoes of its lost crew. To encounter such a ship is to face the ocean's most unsettling mystery. A floating city with no people, moving aimlessly under the sky. Andiativan, in deathsome ships, find new life where turned into hotels, museums, or is one such example. Once a transatlantic liner, she now rests permanently, welcoming visitors who want to step back in time. Others have been turned into stationary casinos or restaurants. These are rare cases, but they remind us that not all ships are forgotten. Some continue to serve, long after their last voyage. Still, the majority are not so lucky. For every Queen Mary, there are dozens of nameless hulks rusting in obscure ports waiting for buyers who never come. For every ship preserved, countless more are broken. Their steel melted into skyscrapers and cars, their names erased from history. Abandoned cruise ships are haunting because they represent more than just metal. They represent human dreams, dreams of luxury, adventure, and escape. They carried newlyweds, families, explorers, and wanderers. They were worlds unto themselves. To see them left to rot is to see those dreams decay before our eyes. Perhaps that is why images of abandoned ships capture the imagination so powerfully. They are beautiful in their ruin, tragic in their silence, and unforgettable in their decay. They remind us that even giants can fall, that the sea spares no one, and that progress always comes at a cost. As we marvel at the glittering cruise ships of today with their water slides, theaters, and neon lights, we should remember that one day they too will face the same fate. The symphony of the seas, the wonder of the seas. Ships that dazzle now will eventually be scrapped, abandoned, or forgotten. It is the cycle of the ocean, the rise and fall of legends. So the next time you step aboard a cruise, take a moment to look beyond the glamour. Remember that the ship beneath your feet is both a dream and a ticking clock. One day when the music stops and the lights go dark, it too may join the ghostly fleet of abandoned giants. Because in the end, the sea always takes back what is hers. If you enjoyed this journey into the haunting side of the seas, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Ocean Legends for more stories that lie beneath the waves.